Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Golf Lovers United podcast. Now, is my product placement good enough? Like the ping on my top, the ping clubs. Have I done enough there, Jay, or not?
Yeah, you're definitely, your product placement is pretty good. I'll admit it's almost as good as my Open and my US Open one. So.
Look, I think maybe like a 4-foot ping banner behind me might be a little much. Get a shot scope. What?
We got to put something LIV behind us too, because people always think that we're paid by LIV. So it's like,
yeah, well,
maybe that'll be the next thing.
When my brother-in-law finally gets off his ass, anyone who listens to this is good with technology, right? I'm happy to pay you. I'm struggling to get the internet into my snug where I'd like to film and I can build a proper studio. I don't understand this stuff. So anyone who lives in the UK, in the southwest region, Bristol, Bath-ish area, that understands mesh networks, because that's what I've been told I've got to get in touch. I'll happily pay you, take you to the Manor House, play some golf with you, come and sit. Because Jay, you've been in there. How good a golf studio would that make?
Oh yeah, it would be great. It would be great. Yeah, golf studio, podcast studio, all.
I meant podcast studio. I can't swing a club in there because
I mean, hey,
stuff.
If you got the room for it, why not? Like
Shane allowing that, mate. I got a green in the back garden. I got a green in the back garden and a gym. She's not gonna take out the one area with the big sofas. She takes her friends when they come over to watch TV. I'm taking a piss as it is. Anyway, everybody, welcome to the show. Right, let's fire in. We've not bothered asking how you are because I don't care. You don't care. We're just going to crack on. We only spoke like 10 times in the last 4 days.
No, everything's great. I think that just with everything that's been going on, pro golf the last few months, people always come online and ask me like why I sound so confident about the future of golf. Is because like I know all this stuff has already been gamed out. Like I already know who the constituents are. I know how everybody intertwines. I know where the money is. Like, I know what the priorities are. So there is nothing for me to really worry about. That's why when people were constantly trying to say LIV is dead, it's like these clowns don't know anything. So it's like you just have to totally disregard it.
What I'd like to do over the next 3 episodes, there's a couple of segments that we've discussed we'd like to do, which is get Red on next time and do our top five courses we've played. Or been to. So you don't have to have played it. You could have gone and witnessed it, watched it, walked around it. And top 5 we want to play. There's a segment that I want to get done. And but I want to weave into this over the next 3 weeks as we get to Augusta.
I'm not going to have Augusta on my list, by the way. So
no, well, again,
FYI,
I've had
because I've been there.
I'm not doing the segment now, but Augusta for me is a really weird one. You're going to laugh now. I really want to play Augusta, but only if the stands are up. If that makes sense. So
it makes a ton of sense.
I have to do this as that course, not that course in a tournament setting, because that's a completely different beast, isn't it? I think for me, so one of my friends, one of my dear friends, has played Augusta twice, and he's played it once on the Monday after the Masters, and he played it about 6 weeks after a Masters.
Yep, I think I know who you're talking about too. But
you're bound to know. But we don't need to share that information. And again, people go, "How do you get your information? Where do you get information from?" Because we know loads of people.
Yeah.
So he said to me the day after the Masters, one of the best experiences of his entire life, absolutely phenomenal. When he played it 4 or 6 weeks after a Masters, a couple of years later, he said, it's not that it's not a great golf course, but a lot of the majesty is in the shaping of everything that goes with it. And with all the patrons, not chairs, but like the patrons' walkways. He said it just helps shape everything. He said, weirdly, Augusta, without any of that, while still beautiful and still amazing, he said, it's a bit of an open looking course. He said, you think there are loads of trees, but there aren't a lot of the time.
Well, there's less now too.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, so it's just the way you said that. So that's interesting. But we'll come on to that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Yeah,
I've had about 8 goes in my top 5, and it just depends how I feel. Like I did one the other day, and all 5 were links. Like, can't have all 5 being links. I can't have all 5 being links.
Gotta have a variety for sure. Yeah, it's a hard thing to do. Like especially narrowing it to 5 courses. Like I've been very fortunate. I've played most of the top courses in the United States. It's really hard to narrow it down.
I've played 25 the top 25 the top 100. 15 the top 100 in the world, and 25 the top 100 in Europe. So I played a lot of really good courses.
Yeah.
And it is really hard. Like there's things like for those that are listening. Again, those that are listening have played Woking. Now Woking for me, Woking is, I think it's 92 in Europe and 65 in Great Britain. It was at the time.
I've heard, yeah.
I actually think it's not in the top 100 in Europe at the moment. I put it above Sunningdale New. Now Sunningdale Old, nothing's beating Sunningdale Old. Well, no, there are a few that beat Sunningdale Old. Sorry, there are a few.
See, I haven't been thinking about that. I'm gonna put that on my list.
But I actually think that Woking is better than Sunningdale New, and I think that St George's Hill, red and blue, is violently underrated. So like, there's loads of things, but it's just personal preference. Anyway,
we can have a 3-hour podcast on it. Honestly, like
I'll tell you what would be really nice. Anyone down in the chat, put a message on YouTube of the top 3 courses you've played and the top 3 you want to play. Maybe it'll help me, Jay, and Red with some thinking. So yeah, just put down in the comments top 3 you've played. Just put the name, put played 3 courses and not played 3 courses, and that'll really help build up the list. And actually, what I tell you we might do, Jay, is I might read out like a top 25, a composite of members and our views to see top 25. That'd be good fun.
We could do it on social media too. Yeah, we could do
the unofficial top 100 courses in the world by us 3 idiots.
Yeah. It might be a little bit skewed considering how many LIV fans listen to we're gonna have Valderrama's gonna be number 1, Dural's gonna be the top 5.
Boatloads of people saying Royal Greens.
Yeah, exactly.
which is
I mean, it's a great course too. I mean, Hong Kong Golf Club. I mean, people Sentosa that LIV just went to.
I've got no interest in Sentosa. No interest.
That's one that I prefer watching pros play rather than play it myself.
It just it looks like a Florida course. It looks like everything you hate about golf, that course.
I mean, a little bit, except I will say some of the holes are way more memorable than just about anything in Florida outside of Doral, Blue Monster, number 18. Like, that's a really memorable course. And honestly, Sentosa had a few holes like that. So
you can put, but let's do Sentosa. Let's go on to that, shall we? Let's do Sentosa.
Perfect.
Right.
Perfect timing. Yeah. Let's, because we didn't really.
Fireballs
are literally in Fuego.
3 out of 4.
They are in Fuego for sure. Yeah.
Who would have thought that Shikara being kicked off, not having his contract renewed, would have meant that they would perform so much better?
I know. I really do think that there is something to that. Like, I've been saying it for a while. Some of these teams, chemistry really, really matters. Like, it really does. And I felt like you and I saw it last year. The chemistry of that team was not great. Like, I mean, he was kind of, being a little bit of a problem. Like, and I just think that when that happens, talent can only take you so far. And it's like, if you could bring in someone else, it's going to be a better cultural fit. Like, you're going to start playing better. And it's very clear that they are. And I think that they have this chemistry about them. One of the important things that I want to mention is, the Asian Tour event, International Series Macau this week. Fireballs are the only team that has all 4 players playing in that tournament too. Like, these are like indicators of like team chemistry and like attitude. Leadership. Sergio's leadership, like basically telling his team like, hey, I'm playing in this event. I want all you guys to play with me for a variety of reasons. Like, that really matters.
I need a bit of mea culpa there. I was right at the time. It was wrong that only 7 players had registered for Macau 4 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. It was the podcast you didn't do with Red and I. And I was moaning about there only being 7 players registered for Macau when there are 3 spaces available. Hang on, there's I'll read them out. Sergio, David Poos, Patrick Reed, Peter Uline, Ubin Zhang, that's 5. McDowell, Munoz, Sir Herbert Jones, that's another 5. Kokrak, Massavo, Kim, Moronk, Surratt, that's another 5. Ogletree, Ortiz, and Barn, that's 3. There's 18. So that's 3. There's 3 5s of 15. They still are, aren't they? Plus 3 is 18. There's 18 players. There were 7 when Red and I did that podcast, which was 3 weeks and a day ago. So
so they've had more
22
people
days ago. There were 7. Yeah.
They've had more people enter it, and also just to add on top of that, we've got a few other players that are also playing in the European Tour event that's in Singapore. Paul Casey, Tom McKibben. Tom McKibben obviously still has European Tour membership, so he's going to keep playing those events.
If I'm right in saying Tom McKibben, is he in? How many of the majors is he in? Because he was
I don't think he's in any right now. I don't think he's.
Is he not?
Oh no, he's in the Open. He is in the Open, so he doesn't have to.
Is he also not in the? Is he also not the PGA, the US Open?
Not yet.
Because his top 10 finish on DP World Tour.
Yeah, that gets him into the Open. Yeah, that is true.
Just the Open.
The only thing with him is that he's like very close to getting into the top 100 of the world. And if you're in the top 100, you're going to get into the PGA. So if he plays well in those few one-offs, like if he wins Singapore, like he's going to be in. So he just has to keep playing, kind of one-off events here and there on the European Tour, the Asian Tour. He's playing so well, like he's going to accumulate points. He's going to get up there. And I think if you're inside the top 125-ish, like last year, that was kind of the cutoff. It was like 125, 130. Everybody else got in. I think that's kind of where he's looking at. So I think Tom McKibben will probably play in 2 majors this year, possibly 3 if he can get into the US Open.
We'll see. Right. Well, I do like Tom. I need to see if we get Tom on the podcast. I'd like to get Tom on the podcast. I'd like to get Tom on the podcast after Miami in that sort of break. It'd be good to get him on, get a couple of people on.
Yeah, I think that mid-season window is kind of the right time too, because they're going to be taking a little time off and all.
Before we go in,
there's going to be a lot going on in the trading window too.
So that was the thing I was saying. So over the next 3 episodes, I also want to weave in what we think is happening and what we're knowing is taking place.
Yep. We'll save it though. There's a lot.
Yeah, but I think we can start weaving some of it in now. Look, I spoke to you and a couple of other guys the other day about a comment I'd got secondhand, but from a very reliable person, from a person who was very much in the tour and on the tour up until a few days ago. And what was the exact quote? Hang on, let me find it, because I actually wrote it down verbatim and sent it you.
Yeah. We can edit this a little part.
Well, we don't edit this. No, they need, mate, the folks at home, they need this. They need the suspense. They need the suspense.
That's fair. Sometimes the AI editing will take out these little...
Here it is. Don't believe all the crap that's out there.
It's shocking.
People are not happy on the tour. There is a lot of animosity if you're not in the Rory and Tiger gang. Now, look,
saying that for a while.
And by the way, I'm not jumping and saying Morikawa. By the way, I'm not jumping and saying Morikawa. I really am not. No, but I'm not. That's not me putting a name out. I'm just saying.
Okay.
You could see from the way that Collin spoke the other day how fed up he is of the media, and it felt like he was saying, "Why are we getting covered in one way and others aren't getting covered in the same?"
Yes.
And I got that comment about 2 hours after Morikawa said that. Mm-hmm. And I know in our group chat that someone said, "Oh, is that to do with Collin?" I said, "No." I said categorically, you know that? I said categorically that my daughter's up there. My daughter's like, I said, it's nothing to do with Collin Morikawa. They just happen to be coincidentally at the same time. But there does seem to be a real vein of people going, "Do you know what? I've had enough. I've had enough of the Rory and Tiger show. I've had enough of this, that, and the other."
They've had enough of the media. They've had enough of the golf media, which nothing makes me happier than that. Like it's so... Yeah, it's great.
And that second comment, and we will come back to LIV, and that second comment that I thought was telling was, if Yazir wants to dump some money now, 4 or 5 players out of the top 20 would probably take it. Mm-hmm. Because they don't feel the loyalty to Tiger and Rory in the tour. And then why would they? The last comment, which was, they're fed up of the fake promises, and some computer game golf on a Tuesday night isn't what they expected. Now, this person, and I cannot reveal who it is, as you know, was very involved with every element on the tour, being in there tight, was inside that tour world for 15 to 20 years. Now they're not. And this comment is coming out as he is commenting on things that he's seen and he's heard. And if they are saying that people are now no longer going to be worried about loyalty because they've been fed all these things that we're going to have, oh, you're going to get this, you're going to get that, and now they've got some computer screen golf league and no money, that's not what they wanted. So look,
No.
we will see what will happen. I know that you and I we weave that in more. Maybe that's just our update for today, that we've got this information. We know there are people unhappy, and it's being borne out.
100%. Just to sort of add on that, like, I mean, it's not just us saying it. It's like Paul McGinley on Golf Channel talking live from the players, talking about, you know, how loyalty only goes so far. And it's like, this is a general vibe that's out there. Like, if LIV and the PIF decide to spend more money, which there was a conscious decision and effort in this offseason not to do that, that can all change at the drop of a hat. So if, as we saw with the John Rahm, Terrell Hatton, Legion stuff that happened the end of 2023 and the beginning of 2024, like, it's only a matter of time before more shots need to be fired at the PGA Tour, just to remind them why they're the ones that initiated this deal. People just tend to forget stuff, but it was Jimmy Dunn that reached out to Nasser in April of 2023. Like, this is a fact. This is a documented fact. Jimmy Dunn said under oath in those Senate hearings a few months later, yes, he reached out because the PGA Tour is very, very concerned that LIV was basically going to wind up taking 5 to 6 players every year. And if they did that, it was going to gut the tour, and they had to figure something else out. So it's like people in the media just like forget this happened, but this happened. It all happened less than 2 years ago. So, and that hasn't changed.
The PGA Tour played friendly, pretended they wanted to do a deal while they got TGL going, hoping TGL would be enough to keep their players happy. It isn't. It's not going to be. It will be for some. It will be for some. It's a bit of extra.
It's not enough money involved in TGL for it. It's not enough money. Like, I mean, we have to be real about it. Like, if you're able to get some of these life-changing amounts of money, like if you're going to be a new captain and command, you know, 9 figures again, or if you're going to be, you know, one of those top 20 players like Terrell Hatton that gets 50, 60 million over 4 years, like, I mean, you'd be silly not to take it. And I've been saying this. I've been very consistent about this from the beginning. It's like, there were going to be players that regretted their stance. They were manipulated. They were led down the wrong path. And this is where we're at. So it's like we're just basically rehashing the same themes over and over again. Like, if there's money to be spent, players have stayed in constant communication with LIV Golf. When the wild's ready to be opened up again, there will be more players that come over. And we've been saying this consistently.
What about that deal I sent you yesterday about, linked to what I was telling you about the player who was offered 40 million over 4 years and turned it down? And we know who the player is. It's like, oh my God.
Well, yeah, the money was more significant probably 2 years ago. Look, I just think that there's a very good chance, whether it be in this off-season window or towards the end of the season, that like more players are going to go. There's going to be a new team, most likely founded. There's
Here's
going to
a
be
question,
player movement within LIV. So
here's a question: if I asked you to bet $5,000 right now on whether there is one new player or more sign on to LIV in the transfer window or not, where would you put your $5,000?
Now, I would put the 5,000 the end of the season. I would 100% do it and have no regrets about it. The transfer window, look, I think one of the things people need to be clear, and we've talked to enough people at LIV to know that this is true. They have made plans in the event they wanted to bring in a new team or new players during the transfer window outside of LIV. This has 100% been part of the discussions. And the more time goes on, the more likely it becomes that this is going to happen. Like, in the absence of a deal and between the PIF and PGA Tour getting farther apart during this period of time, before the Masters and immediately after, like, if there's nothing that happens there, that's the one thing that's still a little bit of a variable to me, is that things can change so quickly. And we're not quite at that point where I'm willing to bet, like, oh yeah, players are going to come over, you know, in the midseason, because the PGA Tour can, like, at some point come to their senses and realize, oh yeah, players are going to go. Like, we need to forget everything else. LIV is going to be here. We need to figure out this deal right now. So that's still a possibility. I think that's unlikely though. So the more unlikely that is, the more likely it is that new players come over during the transfer window. So if I had to put money on it, I would put money on players coming in during that transfer window.
Yeah, I just think LIV does a lot of its best business when LIV is quiet.
Sure. Yeah.
LIV is very quiet. Everyone else is
Real
noisy.
G. I tell people all the time, real G's move in silence like lasagna. Like it's a famous lyric that's out there. But it's like I just think the silence. There is things always going on behind the scenes. You know, things are always quietest before the storm. Like all those sayings out there are. There's a reason why they're those sayings that I think they 100% relate to live golf and everything going on in the professional golf.
I just have a feeling that something's going to drop, but there we are. Right. Let's go back to LIV. Joaquin Niemann, superb. Brooks, superb. Goes under the radar. That's 6 under final day from Brooks and Joaquin Niemann. 2 superb scores. Ben Campbell, well done to Ben Campbell. I don't know if anyone really realises what Ben Campbell did yesterday. Ben Campbell has not guaranteed, but he's nearly all but guaranteed his survival on LIV. So top 24 stay up. You need about 34 points, 35 points to be in that top 24, maybe 36.
About
Ben Campbell's on 27 already with that third place.
He's number
finish.
11. Yeah, he's number 11 already.
He's 11.
Yeah, no.
So
and look, mea culpa for
well
me.
Done to him. Oh yeah, you got
the range
mea
goats.
culpa for you. Yeah.
I do because I ethered the range goats of Bubba and the Ben Campbell signing because I thought it was an F signing. Like I just didn't think.
My daughter was livid with you when I told her you didn't want the range goats.
Sure, I'm sure she was. But
I was like, what?
My apologies to Annabelle.
Why doesn't Jay like the range goats? I'm like, you didn't like him, love. You just have to cope with it. I love the way a 6-year-old kid just obsesses about the range goats. She didn't pay attention to it. She just says, "How are they doing?" and then watches it when the pink's on screen.
Yeah. Hey, it's better. It's better than nothing. It's important branding. No, but I do have to say, Range Goes put me on blast on Twitter earlier today. So I'm a man of my word. I said if Ben Campbell finished top 5, I was going to go to him at Trump Doral. I was going to shake his hand. I was going to say how wrong I was about his game and the signing of Ben Campbell. Like I think that he's proven that he came to LIV this year ready to play. Like I already knew he was a good player. Look, I've seen him win at the Hong Kong Open. Like I saw him beat Cam Smith 2 years ago. Like I know he's a really, really good player. I just thought,
go on.
Yeah.
I just want to compare the top 10 on LIV Singapore to top 10 of the players.
I'll let you do that. But I just want to, let me finish my Ben Campbell thought.
They're both pro golf events.
Let me finish my range goats thought. Then I'll let you run with that. So shout out to the range goat. Shout out Bubba Watson. You guys are playing great golf. Like Bubba Watson is turning out to be one of the best general managers, sort of player GMs, sort of making decisions out there. Like he was the one that brought in Matt Wolff to replace Taylor Gooch. Taylor Gooch hasn't been the same player since. And the way we're looking at, even though Matt Wolff hasn't had a great season thus far, he's been outperforming Taylor Gooch this season. I think last season, it was close. Taylor Gooch was like maybe 10th or 11th, and Matt Wolff was like 16 or 17. So like the gap was very close then. And now I think Matt Wolff might be playing even better than Taylor Gooch. So, and the range goats are starting to climb the standings. Like they've already had, a podium, like they're moving in the right direction. He's still sort of, lying in the weeds there at 7th, but like they've had a second place finish. Didn't play Singapore great outside of Ben Campbell. Matt Wolff had a pretty rough go, but no, shout out to the range goats. I think that they're going to be much, much better. I had them slated to be in the bottom 3 of the standings. So, and I think they're already outperforming that, and they probably are going to be a top 7 or 8 team at LIV. They're outperforming the Aces right now. So yeah, shout out to the range goats. I see what you're doing. Ben Campbell, you're doing great. Keep it up. You can't let up the gas pedal too. Like we got to keep seeing good performances just so that you stay at top 24 so that you're back next year. So yeah, gotta give credit where credit is due. I turn it over to you now to talk about the players.
Look, it's the players was a star-studded event. Maybe didn't. Oh, you're laughing. I don't know why you're laughing.
Look, I got to get this out there really, really quick before you start talking about the Players Championship. I used to love this event. It used to be one of my highlights of my golfing season. It's obviously not what it was, especially when most of my favorite players have already gone over to LIV Golf. It's not the same field. It's not the same quality. Everybody out there, we need to stop trying to call it the 5th major. It is not even close to being that anymore, even though the rigged OWGR still gives it extra bonus points if you win. It just shows how corrupt and rigged the OWGR is, that every flagship event of every tour throughout the world has been devalued, except for the Players' Championship, even though the quality of field has been lessened ever since LIV came about. There's no question about that. There's no John Rahm. There's no Cam Smith. There's no Brooks Koepka. There's no Bryson DeChambeau. There's no DJ. There's none of those guys are there. So, and all of those guys have performed at the Players within recent memory. So yeah, it's a travesty. Let's hope there's some sort of a coming together that allows more LIV players in next year. I thought that was kind of a lock. Now I'm not so sure. So we may be looking at, another couple of years of embargo.
No, I don't. I also think it's going to happen. I don't think the LIV players are going to care. I don't think they're going to care. I think they're going to be happy doing what they're doing. And I think the international series will become bigger and they'll play where they play. At the end of the day, great win for Rory. Winning any golf tournament's impressive. And Rory plays some really good golf. Can't take that away from him. But the top 10, we had McIlroy, Swan, Batia, Glover, Ogue, Corley, Connors, Walker, McIntyre, Morikawa, and Thompson. It's not maybe the stellar list you'd expect. I'll just compare that real quick to Niemann, Koepka, Campbell, Puig, Oosthuizen, Rahm, Munoz, Tringale, Johnson, DeChambeau, Casey, and Answer. One is one thing, one is another. And I think this goes to show the great divide in golf. And I think what's going to happen here is, unless there's a coming together soon, which I'm more and more thinking there isn't going to be, people will stop. People who like the players will love the players. They'll love the players because they love the PGA Tour. They'll be PGA Tour loyalists. And as you know, I watch the PGA Tour. I enjoy the PGA Tour. I actually found some of the coverage of the players really good this year in some ways.
It's better because they take out some of the commercials. Like they actually treat it like it's a big event.
Yeah, players bitching about that tree on 6 annoyed me. I think the tree's a great addition. What, you can't just bomb driver? Okay, you've got to think about it. So, Christ, that does annoy me. I like it.
We've got to make golf courses tougher, especially as technology is
making golf hard again.
It's a chess match. It's like we don't have this like great technology, and then like the golf courses get easier. Like although some of the PGA Tour events, like there's some of those courses have gotten easier over time for sure. I think you have to continually make it tougher. And like even TPC this year, like the greens weren't very firm. The rough was up, which was great to see, which is part of the reason why the winning score was only 12 under par, which is like a good number. I was expecting it to be a little much lower, except they did get some conditions those last couple of days, and that definitely kept the scores down a little bit. So
Americans and saying conditions, you mean weather?
Yeah, no,
it's such an American thing.
Rain, wind, changing conditions of the course. That's the other thing. Like the course evolved like as time went on. Like, I mean, it was in pristine condition those first couple days.
Question,
all of a sudden,
question for you then. Could you, off your handicap of 1, or you scratch or you 1?
+1.
Yeah, sorry, I meant +1.
And I've played this course before, so.
You scratch or +1 a minute?
+1. Plus like half.
Plus half, yeah. Okay, so.
Technically speaking.
So bearing in mind that JJ Spawn shot 5, was it 6 over? 6 over for the 3?
What, so yeah, he made par on 16. He tripled he tripled 17, and then he didn't take a score on the last because Rory already had it locked up. So
yeah, he was gonna
He's probably gonna be 5 over. He's probably gonna be like 4 or 5 over. So
those 3 holes, how many times out of 10 are you playing those 3 holes off the tips and beating JJ Spawn? So you've got to shoot
most times.
4.
9 out of 10 times for sure.
It's just 17, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just, you drawing 17? I mean
18. Well, here's the thing about
I'm never putting in that water. I'm not hitting that water. I'm just hitting.
18?
You've seen me play. You're not. I'm just going to lace a low.
You're not. You're definitely not.
Yeah, I'm going to lace a low slingy hybrid. It's going to go about 235, 240 down the middle. I ain't going to get to those trees. I got a long iron on.
Yeah, because it's not that
for
long
me,
of a
stopping
hole.
Stopping it on 17 is the only thing. And 16 is not a long par 5. No, 16. It depends on the conditions, but like I want to say I've played TBC Sawgrass 3 times in my life. I have no desire to go back there. It's just not. It's not for me really. I think 16 is a relatively like easy par 5. Like there are some dicey spots, especially up by the green. There's water in play. I did go in the water once on my second shot, but
it's like you could drop up there by the green. It's relatively easy up and down. So I made par. Like I've never made anything worse than a par on that hole. 17, if I did hit it in the water once, but it was only because like it was blowing just really, really hard. Except it's like that drop zone shot to me is actually like a pretty easy pitch shot. The worst I've made is double. So if I've made par, the worst I've done so far is par and double. And then on 18, I've never hit it in the water. I have gone right for sure. Like that's kind of the bailout. Except most of the time you can hit like an iron or like a hybrid off the tee. You're going to leave yourself a little longer shot. There was one time that I did hit driver and I just absolutely nuked one nice draw up the middle and I had like a wedge in. Except the other time the wind was blowing in the other direction. I had like over 200 yards left. So actually when I'm hitting a great shot on the green, made par. So it was definitely a very Hal Sutton moment that I had there. I even said, pretty sure, I'll have to ask my dad, but I think I said be the right club today. I'm almost positive. So yeah, I'm definitely like, I think that it was definitely anticlimactic for sure. These 3-hole aggregate playoffs are stupid. I've been saying that for a while. Every playoff needs to be sudden death. They could have got it in last night if they did sudden death and they just kept playing 17 until somebody screwed up. Like it's not going to take that many holes. Like somebody is going to, one way or the other, somebody's going to make a birdie or somebody's going to make a bogey or a double or hit it in the water. And like they just need to play 17 over and over and over again. There's no point in playing a 3-hole aggregate playoff. It's just no point to it.
I disagree. I like the 3-hole playoff. I like seeing.
I mean, in a major, holes. Maybe, but this isn't a major, and it never has been, and it never will be.
It's the 5th major.
Look, I don't care what Lee Trevino says. I don't care what Brandel Chambly says. I don't care what anybody says. There was a chance where it could have been.
It could have been the 5th major. It could have been, but it's not the 5th major.
But they blew it
because they've eliminated 25 of the best players in the world.
Easily, probably more. Like the last 2 times the players they are current LIV players. There were 34 and 35 current LIV players that played in 2021 and 2022. Like that's a lot. That's a good percentage of the field.
3 of the top 4
including
players,
the guy that won in 2022.
Yeah, 3 of the top 4 players were LIV.
Yeah,
Andaban Mahiri came 3rd.
Yeah. And the year before, it was like half the top 16 are current LIV players. Like there's a lot of guys that play this course really, really well that haven't won there. Like DJ usually plays this course pretty well, from what I recall. So yeah, there's just
good to see DJ back. This is one of those podcasts where you and I are not keeping any sort of flow. Right, hang on. We'll get to DJ in a second. We'll get to DJ in a second. So Niemann played really well.
Let's wrap up the players first, and then we'll go back to LIV.
Okay. Well,
was there any other point you wanted to make about the players
Rory being an absolute child taking that kid's phone?
Look, God.
Yeah. How do I put this correctly?
It was a bad look. It was a really
an idiot, if a child or a young man, 18, 19...
He wasn't a child. He's a college golfer. He's a high-level college golfer.
So hang on. That's the important bit. I want to take the golfer out of it. So let's say a 19-year-old lad has a couple of beers and goes to a golf event and says something stupid. Not ideal. Pretty
it's
bad
illegal
look
here in the United States, but it's another story.
You're saying something bad?
No, I'm just saying, like, the legal drinking age here is 21. So
okay, so
that doesn't stop people from doing it.
Let's say he's 21, had a drink, and he says something stupid. It's not a great look. It's not right. He didn't do it during the backswing or the shot. He did it afterwards. He gave Rory a bit of crap. It's not great. It's not a great look. This isn't the waste management where that's a bit more allowed.
Such a throwaway comment.
Yeah, it is a throwaway comment. But where it isn't a throwaway comment is if he wants to be a professional golfer, he should know what should and shouldn't be allowed or done or said at a professional golf tournament. So I don't support the young man who wants to be a professional golfer, who is an elite D1 talent. And from what I can gather, someone said he's ranked top 4 in Texas, which is a pretty good standard golf.
He's at the University of Texas. He was at Arizona State, which is, both of those are, you look at the PGA Tour and LIV, like, a lot of professional golfers come from those 2 schools. Scotty Scheffler, Jordan Spieth, Phil, John Rahm. Like, you just go down the list. Paul Casey. Like, there's a million of them.
So he's an elite talent, and he shouldn't have said it. And more importantly, because he's a young golfer who wants to be a golfer, you should know he shouldn't have said it. So I don't support the kid in saying it. But
I don't agree with that though either. Like, we got to be honest.
If you want to be a judge, do you go into a court case and start shouting? No.
See.
There's a place and a time and a place Do I think what you said was ridiculous? No. But I'm just saying he wants a professional golfer. You've heard the phrase, act like the job you want to have. Like,
that's where I want to go. Do you think Rory has heard this from his fellow competitors at some point or another? Clowning him about some mistake he's made over because Bryson literally just did it at the showdown. He was talking about this putt that he missed.
And you saw how badly he took it. So we'll come on to Rory in a second.
Good.
This year,
he needs to be mentally tough.
Yeah, I agree with you. But this young man maybe shouldn't have said it, especially considering he wants a professional golfer. Act up to the job you want to have. There are a load of people around there that can control your career and help give you sponsors exemptions, this, that, and the other, and help smooth your way into having a career. It's a dumb move if that's the job you want to do. And my analogy is, if you want to be a judge, you don't go into a court and start shouting. You want to be a teacher, you don't go into a classroom and start shouting. Whatever it might be, just toe the line, right? But
we're going to agree to disagree on that.
Yeah, we don't have to agree on anything. But where we are going to agree is, regardless of that comment, Rory's petulant, childish overreaction like a big man baby was unacceptable. Getting in how thin-skinned that bothered him so much he had to go and take the kid's phone off him. And then he threw the kid's phone in the bin. This podcast, how many times have I tried to defend Rory on this podcast? A dozen?
Me too.
2 dozen? Well, you gave up defending him a year ago. I carried on defending him.
It's been a minute.
I've been defending him for a whole year and a half. I really have.
Yep.
But I can't defend that overreaction. If he'd gone up to the kid and went, if he walked up to the lad and went, mate, do us a favour. It's my practice day. If you want to abuse me, come to Bethpage Black and give me a boatload then. And laughed with the kid, and the kid had got the message and it had been dealt with. And how Rory could have dealt with that. But he strode over, give me your phone, and then reportedly threw the kid's phone in a bin. The reaction's just so over the top, Jay.
It was. And I think...
And if he thinks that's bad, now he has just put a bullet on every Ryder Cup player because of that.
Yeah. What complicated it, and this is a post that I put up early in the week that kind of went viral. It's got like 1.5 million views, was of his response in the press conference after, where he refused to even acknowledge it or refused to even address it. Like, I mean, he could have totally squashed the whole thing and just been like, yeah, look, I was in a bad mood. I overreacted. Like, like, should I have done it? Probably not. But then at least you can address it. Except now it's just kind of like taking on a life of its own because he didn't address it. So, and it's like, it's stuff like that just makes me feel like he's like mentally not where he needs to be. And people are saying, oh, Rory proved that he's where he needs to be by winning this event. And I'm like, no, he didn't, because like I expect Rory McIlroy to win multiple PGA Tour events every year, especially now that the fields aren't nearly as good as they used to be. Like he's going to fall into winning PGA Tour events. There's no question about that in my mind, except when it comes to major championships, the things that he wants to win more than anything. That's where the mental test, the line is just a little bit, the courses are more difficult. The fields are deeper. I want to say the fields are deeper at the top, the very, very top. It's very, very dense. Like there's like virtually every top player in the game is there. So it makes those championships harder to win. He's obviously won 4, but it's going on 11 years since he's won 1. And we saw last year, like there were some mental lapses at the end of Pinehurst. There's no question about it. It was a mental lapse at the end of the US Open at LACC that I went to. Like there's these little things that the margins of these majors are so small. It's like, if he plays the way that he did at the Players, he plays that way in a major, he's not going to win. So that's the thing people need to keep in mind. And he needs to get a mental edge to his game to like really convince me and others that he's going to win one of these. Cause I feel like he isn't. Maybe never.
I love his game. His
talent and his game is great. That's not the problem.
It just worries me how angry he got as well with that kid. Like, just, you're Rory McIlroy. What's Rory McIlroy worth? I bet you, with his investments and with his course designing, I don't know if he owns part of Troon, whatever he owns part of that.
Could be $1 billion if he took another deal, but that's
I was about to say, he's probably worth best part of $750 million, right? And a 20-year-old has got so under his skin, he's reacted like that. Like, I just don't get it. Like, just go, hey, shut up, mate. I've won more golf tournaments in the last 2 years than you will in your entire life. Just shut up. Or something, joke, or just go up to him and go, mate, Do us a favor. Go to Bethpage and abuse me. I'm trying to work here. And make some fun of it.
It's not even abuse. It's not even abuse. It's not that bad. It's not like somebody's talking about his wife or his kid or his family or anything like that. They're talking about a mistake that of course not. I'm not saying people should, but people will talk about that at Bethpage, I promise you.
He's going to get absolutely abused.
Yeah, of course. And he needs to be prepared for it. And he's probably not going to play well for that reason. Except, like, it was such a throwaway comment talking about just like the 2011 Masters. And it's like, look, Rory, you hooked. I saw it. We all saw it. 2011 Masters, the 10th tee shot and the 13th tee shot. Guess what? You hit a hook. It nearly went out of bounds. Like, those are mistakes you made that cost you the tournament. Like, it just is what it is. Like, if he hasn't owned this for 14 years, like, I mean, we got, this is like something that's going to haunt him maybe forever if he doesn't win one of these Masters. And like, I still think in order for him to get over the hump, he needs to get a mental edge. Like, maybe playing angry is going to help him. I don't know.
I tell you what can give you a mental edge, Jay. Going to shotscope.com and searching for the latest rangefinders and GPS technology. Going to checkout, entering the code GolfLover at checkout, all one word, GolfLover at checkout, and getting 15% off. That could give you a mental edge, Jay, couldn't it?
I don't know about a mental edge, but it'll definitely give you an edge on the golf course because everybody needs to have a rangefinder. It saves time. I saw the PGA Tour. I saw the PGA Tour is probably going to be testing out having rangefinder. They have such a culture of innovation that no one's thought about this. They're like, oh, we're going to bring in rangefinders to potentially speed up pace of play on the PGA Tour.
Oh, do you know?
Guess what? LIV has been doing that from the beginning. But
do you not make me vomit? Do you not make me vomit? And like, I get accused of hating the PGA Tour, which I don't. I dislike its leadership. I think its leadership is weak and ineffectual. You hate the PGA Tour.
I'm the hater. I'm the hater. Through their actions, and the people that are still there.
Calm. We know that. We know you hate the PGA Tour, right? What made me vomit was Jay Monahan's State of the Union, but on top of that,
get me started.
Was the speed of play thing. It's obvious based on Collin Morikawa's comments and a couple of they're going to find them FedEx points. Like they're not even going to find them shots in the mat. It's like, oh come on, your solution to speed of play is docking someone some FedEx Cup points. It's just galling how irritating it is. But anyway, ShotScope. Tell you what I have started using, and I was never a fan of it because I didn't like doing it because I don't like to use a mobile phone to score on. Never like doing that during golf. I like a card and a pen.
Sure.
So,
yep.
I'm not a big fan of wearing watches when I play. Any jewelry, but on ShotScope, I've got the laser, and I've got this little pebbly thing, which is it's basically like a watch, but on a detachable thing with a magnet goes onto the back of my. Actually, I've got the thingy's the club, so obviously that's it, but it clips onto here with a magnet, and it's just like the surface of a watch. Yeah. And I've got the little things in the end of my clubs for each club, and I'm now getting my yardages for every time I hit a ball, and it knows when I picked the club up, it knows when I take that club, it knows when I've hit the club, and it's interesting. I've got my gappings really good. Apart from my 5-iron and my 4 hybrid, I'm hitting my 5-iron. I hit my forward. My 4 hybrid, I'm only hitting that about 6-7 yards past my 5 hybrid, 5-iron. So I think I need to get a 3 hybrid.
Yeah, it's a common problem.
Just for my gapping it there, but I wouldn't have known that without that because I thought I was hitting my 5-iron 220, 218, 220, and I thought I was hitting my hybrid 235, 238. Turns out I'm not. My hybrid I'm hitting about 230, and my 5-iron I am hitting it about 222, 223, 222. So I got sort of like 5, 6, 7 yards worth of gap. So and I really like that. And that isn't an advert for ShotScope. That's more of an advert for. I didn't really ever think about doing that because I don't like doing it on my phone.
No, you don't need to. Like
when you played me, did I? For someone who's always on his phone, did I use my phone once? We played in 18 holes. I put it away.
It's a distraction.
And I just want to play golf.
It's a distraction. It is a distraction. I don't like doing it either. But I will say I like to. One of the things I love about golf is the data and dialing in my distances. And I am on a TrackMan and GC Quad all the time. I'm not on full swing, by the way. I'm on my TrackMan GC Quad. I'm in the simulator. I'm dialing in my distances. Like I have my distances for every club dialed within, a couple yards. And I know generally when I need to tweak lofts and stuff like that, because it's like something will be too spinny or go too high or be a distance that's off. And it's like, yeah, I need to probably check my lofts and lies again. And it's usually, I just did it the other day. I was like, my 9-iron, something's going on here. Found out it was a degree and a half weaker than it should have been. So I was losing distance. It was coming off spinny. So I adjusted it down, and now I'm back at my 153 to 155 number for my 9-iron. So it's perfect.
Right, we're indulging our boring sides about our own games.
No.
But hey, people seem to like us. So
people like it. People like it. Yeah.
Shotscope.com, golf lover at checkout for 15% off.
Yeah. Just to wrap up the players, I was sitting with Mrs. PGC.
We're done.
I was sitting, this will tie
I'm going to start talking about Duke in a minute. Anything to stop you.
It is March Madness. Everybody pick Duke in your pools. But no, just to wrap up the players. Sitting with Mrs. PGC, and she was looking at the top 10 on leaderboard. She was like, how many players do I reckon? Like maybe 2. So she knows Rory, she knows Akshay, she knows Collin Morikawa. Outside of that, she had no idea. And she's just like kind of a very casual golf fan. And it's like, that is a huge, huge indicator of like what's going on at the PGA Tour. I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing. I just think that that's their new reality. Like that, somebody in the top 10, honestly, even I wasn't that familiar with Danny Walker. When I saw Walker in the top 10, I was like, oh, Jimmy Walker's playing pretty well, but it wasn't. It was Danny Walker.
Jimmy Walker's giving it a go.
Yeah, exactly. But it was Danny Walker. And I was like, man, I need to get familiar with another face. And I'm like, wow, this is totally unexpected. So I just think that it's a new reality for the PGA Tour. It sounds like next year they're going to further reduce the field from 144 to 120. Just to kind of cut out some of the additional players. And it's like, man, I don't know. I think the answer is obviously inviting the LIV players.
If you cut it from 144 to 120, I read, was it Monday Golf, or what was his name?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Ryan French.
Right. I think it was Ryan that put on, if you did the cut that they proposed, that 4 of the top 20 wouldn't, or 4 or 5 of the top 20's results this year wouldn't have been the event.
Mm-hmm.
So from 120 to 140, so there's 20 players in that delta between 120 and 140. So out of those 20 players, I think it was 4 or 5 of them finished in the actual top 20. So it's not like you're cutting out players that can't play. It's
everybody on the PGA Tour can play. Like I never want to make it sound like we don't respect how good all these guys are. However, we all know stars are the ones that drive everything.
Some big names missed the cut, like Ludwig Oberg. Like, you missed the cut.
That wasn't a surprise, but
continue. And anything to fuel you up, your Ludwig hate. But like, there were a couple of names that missed it. Like, I was gutted to see Laurie miss it. Laurie Cantor had a great first day, 4 under.
Yeah,
bad second day. Justin Rose seems to not be himself at the moment. Hideki again. Hideki's been scratchy. Hideki seems to be a good event, bad event, good event, bad event. Hideki at the moment.
Yeah, very inconsistent. Very inconsistent.
Yeah.
It's probably contemplating his future, but it's another stuff.
Yeah.
Scott, I mean, look, Victor Hovland's still kind of in the wilderness. Hovland shot 80-68, like crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Berg. Yeah, we don't know Berg.
Yeah, Thomas Dietrich, 79-68.
Dietrich started really hot this season with 2 top 10s and a win. I think he had a 12, a 10, and a win in his first 3 events, and since then, literally has shit the bed.
Yeah, another guy that's contemplating his future.
Well, he did contemplate it and then change his mind, apparently.
Well,
temporary change of mind.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't think that story's been completely written.
At least he didn't change his mind for a second time based on his wife telling him not to, but I'm not naming any names there. Matt Fitzpatrick, big miscut, and parted company with Billy Foster.
Yeah, he has not been playing well this year at all. Fitzpatrick has been totally in the wilderness too.
Has he played well at all, really, in the last 12 months?
No.
Okay at the Ryder Cup?
Even then, it was like not.
Yeah, but, was he 2.5, 1.5? my point being, Fitzpatrick's really been all at sea. I had a very interesting conversation with someone about Fitzpatrick and his equipment, and maybe he doesn't get the best advice from the people that fit his gear. And there's concerns around whether he could be playing a different gear in his bag that could help him. That was both the Højgaard brothers not playing great. Tony Finau obviously come back from injury. Tony doesn't look fit.
No,
If I'm honest,
I
that
don't think
plus
he is.
8 and missing the cut, he doesn't look fit. And Wyndham Clark, was Wyndham?
He was playing okay, and then it was a mystery. He had a problem with his neck, apparently, and one of those things. Yeah.
Oh, well, there we are. Look, that's that. Do we know if Rory is flying now to play in the TGL, or is the TGL playoff going to be short of one of the best players?
No, he's not. His team didn't make the playoffs in TGL. So the two headliners did not make the playoffs. So neither Tiger nor Rory will be participating in the 4-team TGL playoffs that kicks off tonight. So we're talking about New York Golf Club, LAGC, San Francisco Bay, and who am I leaving out? Atlanta Drive. Sorry, how could I forget Atlanta Drive? Shout out Billy Ho. So those
Billy. I know you find time finds Billy Ho difficult. I like Billy. I did like that clip when he's walking over going, I just need to get in the clubhouse. I have got no idea where my swing is. I got no idea where the golf ball's going. I just need to get home. And I just love the honesty. We've all been there going, I swear my club head is here. I swear my hips are here. I swear, and it's nothing like what you're doing is coming out. And I did love that because we've all been there.
For sure. And maybe, holding people accountable for being honest and transparent actually is rubbing off on them. So shout out Billy Ho for actually showing, I think that was a genuine thought that he had. So yeah, like if it wasn't for people like me sort of holding him accountable to what he says and telling him to stop being fake and inauthentic, maybe he wouldn't say it. So I'm glad to see him out.
You are relentless today, right? Like we've done the players.
It's just reality. It's reality.
We were going to go back to Singapore. I just want to touch not on Singapore per se, but I want to touch on this. Have you had a look where Torquay would be if Mito Pereira hadn't been dreadful every week?
Yeah,
so
Mito's a huge problem.
So again, I'm not being horrible. We got to talk about it, and we get accused. So for any LIV fans or LIV players that are listening to saying, why are you being tough? We can't just be tough about one thing. We've got to be honest about everything. Torquay have got 2 of the top 4 singles players in their team. In the top 4, in their team, 2 of the top 4 players are in their team.
Munoz and Niemann have been playing great.
And the 12th ranked player is also in their team. Carlos Ortiz.
Solid. Carlos Ortiz is a solid player. Solid 3rd or 4th, for sure.
But Mito Pereira, 49, 46, tied 20th, 51, has been truly, truly dreadful and has really, really cost them and means that they are 3rd carrying him. So if he had just been 3 shots better each week over 3 days,
reasonable.
Yeah, they would be on. So they're currently on 36 points. They'd still be 3rd, but they'd be 3rd on 74 points.
Yeah.
The current 4th place team is on 34, so it should be the top 4 should be completely clear. It's it's got some Latin elements in the Fireballs, Legion, and Torquay. Like they should be a real clear front 3. But the other one, and look, we've got to be blunt, we've got to be honest. Freddie Ketchup, honestly, what the cliques, he is struggling big time, really badly.
Out to sea, as you like to say, totally out to sea. Like I don't.
So that's such a Ben line. He's out to sea, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I love that. I've started using that in my everyday life.
He's out to sea.
Yeah. So, and he was scheduled to play in the International Series Macau this week, and I saw he withdrew. So I don't know if there's an injury thing or if it's just a mental thing where he feels like he needs to get his game together. But like, I'm very concerned about Freddie Ketchup. And I'm pretty sure he only has a 1-year deal. So, and I was saying
if I've got any influence on that young man, which I probably don't, but anyway, a comment could get back to him. Smile. Just enjoy golf. He looks like the running back or the wide receiver that has got 2 games left and they're desperate to try and get a down or something to get a win bonus or to secure next year's contract.
Yeah.
But he's doing that not a week 12 or 13. He's done it a week 1.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, for sure.
game
No.
15,
He's putting
16
a lot of pressure
NFL
on himself.
seasons, different.
Mhm.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
he's so scared. How do I put it? I'm struggling to get this in the way I want to say. He is, instead of saying, I'll guess a number, I could be wrong. I'm going to guess he's got a $2.5 million deal for 12 months, or with an option if LIV want to extend it for, say, $4 million for 2 years, something like that, right? It'd be
Yeah,
in that
I think
ballpark.
it's probably I think it's probably less than that if I had to guess. But yeah, I'll go with it. That's fine.
Yeah,
maybe I'll find out when I'm in Miami. We'll see.
Let's say it's $1.5 million for 12 months, right? That could be in that ballpark. Instead of saying to himself, right, I've just come off the Latin America tour, I've got £1.5 million in my back pocket. I'm going to get a minimum of 100,000 every week on LIV, even if I completely shit the bed. So that's going to give me another 1.8 million. So I've got 3.3 million. I'm financially set for life, plus any team money, and I can perform better than that. It's like he's so rabbit in a headlight, scared, no smiles, no joy, no happiness. I just wonder how much, but he can't do it, Jay. But it looks like if someone just said to him, have a couple of pints before you go out. Take the edge off. Just take the edge off. He's playing scared. He's playing scared to keep his place. And it's just, I feel for him because he's going to look back on this, Jay, and he'll look back and he'll go, I didn't enjoy a single event there because I was so anxious and so under my own pressure.
He needs to do something because finishing in last place by 8 shots is not a good look. Like, I mean, he was plus 18 in Singapore, which is really, really bad. Obviously, he shot 80, 74, 77. I mean, look, that isn't an easy course, but it's like you can't be finishing in last by 8 shots. Like, it's just not totally inexcusable. And I do think that a lot of these guys will start playing better golf if they just. I mean, some of these guys that got security of a longer term deal and like could relax, like Terrell Hatton. Like Terrell Hatton, I saw he was in the media recently talking about
Uline, Bland, Hatton.
Peter Uline.
Like, you'd list all the players that actually were better off for it, but instead this kid's going, I'm under so much pressure. Yeah, well, Gooch, and then not so much Gooch now.
Well, Taylor Gooch the first 2 years. The first 2 years.
Burmester, sure. Lucas Herbert, Carlos
yeah.
Ortiz, McKibben, like, isn't it like Lahiri?
Puig.
Like,
Puig, like,
yeah.
Like when you're a young player and you have that security of like, you're on the right team and you've got the right support structure, and Puig has been on LIV from the, like he's been contributing from the beginning. He's actually the winningest team player in LIV golf history. His teams have 8 wins, which is because he got 4 on Torquay before he got traded, and now he's got 4 on Fireballs since last year, which is something to be said for that. I think that a lot of these guys have found their place and they're comfortable. And a lot of times your best golf just comes from that mindset and that place of, look, I know where I am. I'm really comfortable. I really like it here. Like I'm in a groove. I'm in a rhythm. I know my schedule. I know I've got the right team around me. Like all these things can lead you to your best golf. Like we're starting to see it with Louis Massaveu too. Like he finished tied 14th for the Fireballs, and like his improved play and sort of like timely good rounds, timely birdies, keeping the mistakes to a minimum is part of the reason why the Fireballs have won 3 of the first 4 events. Like they've won 3 in a row. And it's now with all 4 scores counting, like every single round, every player matters. So, and I think because he's in the right environment, he's freed up. He's got the support of one of his like idols and mentors in Sergio Garcia. Sergio, not enough is made of Sergio being a great leader, because Ryder Cup teams, LIV Golf, Fireballs, the guy has matured a lot in his years. Like he and I are similar age, and like we all make mistakes when we're 20s. Like I know he said a lot of things in the media that he will probably take back now, but it's like he's a lead. He's a true leader. Like he is the leader of the Fireballs. He's building his brand. He's building his team. He's been a leader on the Ryder Cup in the past. He probably will be in the future as well. And it's just a really, really good thing to see. Like, I'm super impressed with the Fireballs and how they've been playing. Like, we don't talk about it nearly enough. We don't talk about how good Sergio has been sort of in this renaissance in his career, sort of in his early to mid 40s. Like, dude's going to be a force at the Masters. Like, I think he's playing that well. Like, I think he's going to be, I mean, what is he, number 3 in the standings right now? Yeah, number 3 in the standings. Like, and he was top 3 last year too. So shout out Sergio, shout out Poosh, shout out Abe Answers, shout out Louis Massive. Like, you guys are really killing it, and looking forward to seeing more and more from you guys as the year goes on.
Well, should we say goodnight?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to start to stop it. Looking
Sergio
forward
Garcia
to
is 100 to 1 for the Masters.
Really? I could see like a Olafable,
Mate,
like,
I've got
second Masters.
I've got £11 in my betting account. I've now got £0 in my betting account. I've just put it on Louis. I've gone £5.
I mean, even pick him
way.
for a top 10, top 20. Like, he's playing that well. He obviously knows his golf course. And shout out Joaquin. We don't talk enough about Joaquin Niemann too. Joaquin Niemann has cemented himself as a top 5 player in the world at this point. He's number 1 in the standings by a good margin right now. I mean, he's got 6 wins the last 15 months. He's going to be a force in the majors this year. He's in 3 out of the 4. The only one he's not in is in the US Open. But now that LIV has this opportunity where you get that number 1 spot, you're going to be in all the majors, basically. Like, he's gunning for it. There's no question about it in my mind. And he's going to be a force at every single major going forward. I feel very, very confident about that. He's been the best player on LIV. Phil Mickelson has gone on record to say he's the number 1 player in the world. I'm not willing to go there yet. However, I got to say, Phil is usually out in front of this stuff. So, I mean, if Joaquin Niemann wins the Masters, wins the major this year,
I saw a very good
he could be number 1 easily.
I saw a very good tweet before we say goodbye is every single American needs to be grateful that Joaquin Niemann is Chilean and not European, because you wouldn't be winning a Ryder Cup for another 20 years. Because you put Joaquin Niemann on a European team, just that one addition, that European team strong as it is, it'd just be like, oh God.
Yeah. I mean, he's 26 years old. He's got his entire career in front of him. Now I feel really confident that with things changing in the golf world, like, he continues to play well. Like, if he wins a major, he's in the majors if he wins the Masters, he's in it for life. So, which I think is a good possibility. Like, he's going to be one of my top 5 favorites going in. No question about it. The problem is there's so many good players that are sort of starting to round in the form. Brooks starting to see that look in his eye as we get into major season. Even DJ, shout out DJ, finishing top 5. Like, people were writing his obituary like last week because he finished second to last.
Did you see that one?
Last place.
Yeah. Did you see that one guy come? Did you see that one guy come after me and go, "I've not heard from you for the last couple of days, golf lover," as if like somehow DJ getting a top 5 proved his point.
I know, like what? Like
this is the bizarrest version of a win, mate, ever.
I know.
At best, it was a 5-day cricket test match, 5-day draw.
The fried egg, all those guys are total clowns. Like, I wanted to give some of those guys the benefit of the doubt, but like, I can't give the benefit of the doubt to anybody in the golf media. The corrupt golf media is the reason why I call them what.
Fried egg, right? They do one of my favorite Instagram posts every week ever, which is called Design Disasters. And you send it. Have you seen it? You send in golf courses with horrific holes, and like it just goes to show that like these guys are good. They're nice. Most of them are good people in many ways.
They do good content. Their opinions are trash, generally speaking.
They've just been so brainwashed by the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
Right, we got to go. I got to go.
Yeah,
I've got to be in London early tomorrow. I love you.
Same.
So to recap, Rory, we like his ability. Wish he didn't overreact. Niemann's top 5 in the world. The fireballs are Fuego. Shotscope.com. Golf lover in your basket. Anything else?
No, I'm just excited about the golf season. We're starting to heat up.
One last thing. How are your Vokies? You said you enjoyed them. Have you played them a bit more?
My God, yes.
They're not as good as these SM1 fight. These where are we?
S159s, I think you got.
S159s, yeah, they're cool.
Yeah. No, look, I was planning on maybe going for a ping wedge fitting, but like I said, I got talked into by a few different pros that I respect. Shout out to Steve Elkington. Shout out to Anthony Kim. Shout out Chris Couch. Like those guys, like they were like, Vokeys are it. And I was like, I know Vokeys are good, but like, so I went for that wedge fitting. Honestly, my short game just feels so good and it just keeps getting better. But like there's levels, and I'm starting to build on these newfound shots that were in my repertoire 10 years ago that I haven't brought back out because I felt like I didn't have any confidence. Now it's like, I know that I can start to build that confidence back up, and I'm going to start playing in more tournaments this year. Now that I'm starting to feel confidence in my short game, maybe a new putter, we'll see. I got to get a couple things in my bag sort of dialed in still. Shout out Ping. I'm going to come for that long game fitting soon. And yeah, so look, Vokeys, I just think, I said it last podcast, I'll say it again. Short game fittings, so important to dial in everything in and around the greens. Like, it's the way to drop shots fastest. And I really do feel like my handicap, like my goal is to get to +2, +3 this year. And now I feel like it's actually attainable. So, because long game has never been my problem. It's always been short game and everything around the greens. So shout out Vokey, shout out Ping, shout out Callaway, because Callaway's making moves in the space too. And I've got a couple of things I got my eye on too. So those are the 3 brands that I think I'm going to be supporting. Lab putters too. I got to go for my lab putter fitting too.
No, don't be dumb. Don't be dumb. You're better than that. Right. We've got to go. If you start using a lab putter, we're going to end this podcast. You're better than that. Don't fall for the ridiculous hype. Look how many people have now started taking them out of their bags.
Yeah, but there's a few, except for me personally, it might be the magic bullet, just for me personally. I got to figure it out. So
you're better than that. Honestly, go and have a word with yourself. Go and ring your dad. Your dad's a good bloke.
I got to talk to Phil. I'm going to talk to Phil and Doral, because
Phil's taking out the bag.
Phil's taking out of the bag. Back to the Tiger Slayer. Yeah. I don't quite have that level of feel of my putters. Phil does, but I'll have to talk to him.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I got to go to bed. I love you all. Go and play Ping. Play your best. Top scope. All that stuff. And on a serious note, please put your 3 courses you would like to play in the comments, and 3 courses you've been to that you love also in the comments, and we can compile some sort of list.
Perfect. All right.
Take care. Bye-bye.